Okay, so this is part two. Had to delete some stuff off my phone. Okay, later I heard nothing but criticism of Tammy Baker and the PTL Club. She seemed to be a laughingstock of Christianity. This happened right in the middle of the scandal, too. For some reason, though, her makeup, her hair didn't bother me. All the makeup in the world couldn't stand in the way of what God was doing in my life. I'd come to a breaking point. It was either going to grab a lifeline or fall off the edge. Here's the point. God can use anyone he wants. He's God. Susan was surrounded by a sincere, loving Christian who genuinely cared about her. Highly respected campus ministries were all full swing around her, but God didn't use them for this assignment. That's not to say they didn't have the effective ministry in many other areas. However, in this particular case, he was looking for someone whose sole qualification was what he was looking for, and he found it in one Tammy Faye Baker. Now, if I were God's employment recruiter and this woman shuddered her stuff in the door, the words wrong, wrong, wrong would immediately spring to mind. Yet God used her. I'm not endorsing or condemning Tammy Faye Baker. I'm just pointing out that she appears to be the most unlikely vessel, and that's precisely the power in the story. There's no human explanation possible. The perfect scenario for giving God 100% of the glory, and that's the way he requires it. It also reminds us that even when we stumble and fall, God can use us, because our lives become a warning to others that we are all vulnerable to Satan's attack. When we turn our hearts back to him, we can know with confidence that God will restore us. Does it surprise you that God chose to use a controversial figure, a woman embroiled in the public scandal, to bring a hurting soul into the kingdom? Why or why not? Is there anything you can ever do that will render you unusable to God? Who are some unlikely people God has used to accomplish his work in your life? Recall the circumstances and how they changed you. What key lesson did you glean today? I'm going to say, did you learn today? A recap. When God wants to accomplish a task on earth through human vessels, he can use anyone he pleases. God often chooses the most unlikely job candidate so that he will alone get all the glory. Now, reflecting on that, I could honestly say that it's a lot of different things that I do in my life I know that God is not pleased with, and I'm, praying about, but he can still use me. I'm a very unlikely vessel to use, but I know that I can be used, and so can everyone out there. I go through a lot of different trials and tribulations. Through it all, I feel like my foundation is on sturdy ground. I've always been raised in church, and no matter how much I stray or not go or, do what I want to do, go out and things of that sort, God never has left me. I left him before, but he's never left me. And that's where I'm trying to get back to my median, back to where I can get different desires, going out as much, drinking, things of that sort. I'm going to eventually get there, but during that time, I'm trying to bring whoever I can with me to the other side. So, love y'all. Have a good one. That's it.